Hi everybody, welcome to Painting with Ink with Leslie Watkins. Today I want to share with you some tips on painting with ink. It's very much like painting with watercolor with just a few little differences with your materials and a little bit with how the ink moves on the paper. So what I want to show you today are some of the materials that you can get to begin painting with ink. All of these materials will be listed under the video with a link that will bring you right to my online store. And they are paper, ink, brushes, and a spritzer. And I'm going to go over these in more detail in just a moment. But in addition to those things, you're going to want to have a few basic items that you probably have around the house. So you'll want to have some paper towels. I like to use Bounty because they're so absorbent, and that's how I use them to help regulate the amount of water on the brush. You'll also have a couple of water containers. So I'm just using pint-sized deli containers. One is for clean water to keep it clean, and the other is for rinsing my brush off in, so that's going to be my dirty water. I also have a cellulose kitchen sponge, and this is a sponge that was never used with any soap or grease, and it's damp. So it should be just barely wet so that it's thirsty, and you can use that to blot your brush. The other thing that I have is a spritzer. Okay, so this is one of the items that you can get from my online store, and very inexpensive. They come 2 to a pack, so you can get these for, I think it's $3 now. You can also get some water painters. The water painters are brushes that have the water in the reservoir, and they come 3 to a pack, and they are 3 different styles of brush tips. So you can get a small, a medium, and a flat. There are also a couple of different papers that you can choose from. So the shimmery white paper is 8.5 by 11, and it comes 10 to a pack, and it has a very smooth surface, much like a hot press watercolor paper. And this is particularly nice for using with your note cards because it layers very nicely, and it also has a very pretty, subtle kind of a sheen or glimmer to it, very pretty. And it takes water really well. And then the other paper that I have is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. This is a cold press paper. It's a 140-pound paper. These pieces measure 5 by 7, and this also has 10 sheets to a pack. Now, when you're painting using the watercolor technique, you're going to want to be sure that you're using an ink that is a water-based ink. And for that, we have the ink refills. So these are the same refills that you use to replenish your stamp pad. And because they're water-based, they're very much like using liquid watercolor. And what I would recommend that you do is, if you're just using a few different colors, you can just put a couple of drops on the lid of the corresponding ink pad, and that way you can keep all of your colors separate. But if you're going to be doing a lot more painting that involves several different colors, then I would recommend that you find a white dinner plate. This is a ceramic tray that I got on Amazon. I think there were 4 to a box. And I just chose this size because it worked well with the camera when I'm doing my videos. But it works really well for mixing colors. The main thing is that you want to have a white surface so that when you're mixing your colors, you're seeing how they look on a white background, and that'll give you an idea of how they're going to look when you're actually painting with them on the white paper. So that's the brief introduction to some of the materials and supplies that I would recommend that you have on hand. And if you're working with watercolors, it's very similar, except that, of course, instead of using inks, you're just going to be using the tubed watercolors, or what I recommend. So thanks for watching. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Just let me know. You can contact me through my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com. And if you're interested in joining us in the Watercolor Card Club, I'll also include that link below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.